Hello everyone, my name is David and today I'm going to read this book called I Survived, and I'm going to read chapter 5. Yesterday I've done reading from chapter 1 to chapter 4. Let's get started. Chapter 5. Tata froze and looked up, searching the crowd with fantastical eye. The guard screamed at him, "Move, move now!" At last, Tata spotted Marcus. He dropped his shield and ran towards him. Seconds later, Marcus was in Tata's arm. "It's not possible," Tata whispered, hugging him so tightly that Marcus could hardly breathe. "How did you get here?" "Festus brought me here after you were sold," Marcus says, barely be able to choke out the words. "But Tata, how? Why?" Not even Marcus' nightmare could he have imagined anything worse than this. Festus sold Tata to the gladiators. Marcus buried his face in Tata's chest, breathing in his familiar smell. Every day, every hour, Marcus has wished for this moment, and for a few seconds later, he let him believe that they were really back together, and his prayers has been answered. But of course, the opposite is true. Two guards grabbed Tata's arm, tearing him away from Marcus. Then the Lanista happened. "What's this?" he spat. "How dare you stop my parade?" The musicians were silent, the jugglers and acrobatics still. All eyes were on Tata and Marcus. "Have mercy," Tata says, struggling in the guard's grip. "This is my son." The Lanista stared at Marcus, his cold, fishy eyes looking him up and down. "Maybe you'd like to join your father in the arena," he sneered. When Lanista looked to the ground, "What do you think?" he bellowed. "A father and a son against Cylops." A few people shouted, "Bring him!" "Yes, what a show it will be." "Or maybe you should fight each other," the Lanista said, rubbing his hands together. "Run from here, Marcus," his father cried. "Go!" But instead, Marcus grabbed the Lanista arm. "I beg you, please let my father go." The man gripped his arm away and snatched a spear from one of the guards. He pointed at the blade at Marcus' eyes. "Ever wonder how Silas lost his eye?" he taunted, looking at Marcus. "No!" Tata shouted. Marcus stretched back. He lost his balance and fell, smacking his head on the stone curb. His head exploded in pain. He struggled to sit up, and through the blur he could see Tata being dragged away, the guards jabbing him with spears. The Lanista wicked and cackled rose up over the merry music. As Tata disappeared, all the strength drained from Marcus' body. These past 2 months, he'd always had the rope and that he and Tata would be together, and that speck of hope, a tiny glowing ember, has been everything to him. But now, Marcus lay back in the gutter, closing his eyes. How would he go on? In his mind, he features Festus' face, hearing him barking orders. He imagined the slaves who'd been working in the villa for years. Their bodies were cooked and scattered, their eyes dead like statues. And then Marcus thought of the heroes from his favorite stories, the desperate ones too. Odius, who has lost us at sea for 10 years on his way home to Troy. Hercules, pinned down by a bloodthirsty lion. These culture races men knew terror and hopelessness, but Marcus did now. But their stories had an end with fear and defeated. Marcus' eyes snapped open. He sat up and struggled to his feet. He understood. He was trying to save Tata, even if it killed him. Marcus went to the fountain and splashed cool water on his face. He didn't have time, so the parade would reach the gladiator barracks, and Tata would be locked away. The barracks was like a prison, with high stone walls and towering iron gate. Marcus had heard the fighters were locked in dark cells. Their arms and legs were shacked until it was time to fight. Once Tata was in the barracks, it would be too late. But somehow, Marcus had to steal Tata away from the parade. But how? He searched his mind for an idea. Again, he thought of Odius. Odius wasn't the strongest man, but he was cunning. There's some low points in the Trojan War when the Greeks' armies had Troy surrounded, but they have not break through the massive wall that encircled the city. Thousands of Trojans archers guarded the wall, ready to fire down anyone who came close. Some Greek generals were ready to give on invading the city of Troy. Not Audius, he came up with the ingenious idea of building a giant wooden horse with a hollow belly. He and his best Greek soldiers hid inside the horse. They made the Trojans believe that the wooden animal was an offering from the gods, and tricked them into bringing it inside their walls, and then attacked. At the dead of the night, Audius and the hidden snowers snuck out of the horse and opened the gates. The Greek soldiers smashed the Trojan army and conquered the city. Marcus searched around, and he also saw the laundry bag lying where his shot. Drop it. But wait, the idea flashed into Marcus' mind, and before he could talk about it, he had ripped his sack open and rummaging through Festus' clothes. He grabbed a toga, a rope woven from the finest wool and edged from the purple ribbon. Marcus could build himself of a wooden horse, but he could hide in Festus' toga, disguise himself as an important Roman citizen. Marcus threw himself around, covering in his old tunic, a yoga stank like rotten food, old wine, and Festus' sweat. Marcus fought back his nausea as he wrapped the endless stretch of fabric around his body, finally dabbing the loose end over his shoulder. He struck his shoulders. The toga strained up ground a little bit, but it would do. Marcus splat into his hand and flattened on his hair to his forehead, style a rich son of Rome. Now he just needed a weapon, something to scare the guards so he and Tata could escape. Once again, the answer is right on him. On the sidewalk, the snake charmer. Somehow the old man is still dozing with basket at his feet. Marcus crept up, kneeled, and snatched the basket. The old man awake in the flash, hollering about him. Stop him! Stop the thief! Marcus started to the ground, one hand firmly one off the lid of the basket. He was terrified the lid would fly up and that the crowbar would spring out and sink its fan into Marcus' neck. He would feel the snake hissing ferociously, banging his body against the side of the filthy basket. Marcus' heart pounded, his legs wobbled, his mind swirled with fear. But somehow he kept himself moving until he caught up with the parade. The music had stopped and Lanista was unlocking the gate of the gladiator barracks. Marcus was almost out of time, and he would have just one chance. Chapter 7. Marcus stepped slowly, slouching to the basket. At first, he didn't notice how people would move aside for him, but now slaves bowed their heads, and he understood. His disguises worked. Nobody guessed he was just a slave. None of the guards tried to stop him as he approached the front of the parade. Marcus saw the Lanista. His chest puffed out. There was Tata. The big guard was jabbing him in the back with a spear, laughing at Tata's prey. Marcus' blood boiled as he walked towards the Lannister. Closer, closer, closer. When he was just a few feet away, the Lannister looked at him. Their eyes met, and Marcus saw the flash of recognizing of the man's eyes. Stop him, Lannister bellowed, pointing at Marcus, but it was too late. Marcus tore the lid off of the basket. He lunged for it with all the strength he could gather. He thrust the open towards Lannister, propelling the snake into the air. The cobra soared, twisting, hissing arrow. The snake struck Lannister in the chest and landed on the ground, coiling itself tightly. The Lannister womanly scream rose out of the crowd, and everything went still and silent. People started hypnotizing in the sight of the cobra. The creature lifted his head, rising until he was tall as a child. It flared his great hood and opened its mouth to expose its silky pink mouth and killer fangs. Hiss! And then, as if Marcus himself had pulled a level, the earth started to rumble. Just as it from earlier, stone crumbled and fell from the wall surrounding barracks. The roar echoed from the deep underground. It's the curse from the gods, someone shouted. The crowd erupted in panic. The Lannister turned and ran. His guard followed. The gladiators fought. Snakes the slither away. The horse screeched and reared up, tossing their riders onto the ground. Marcus ran to Teta, who stared at him in confusion. Teta, Marcus says, tossing his eye off Toga. It's me. Amazing. Lift up Tata's eyes, but there was not a second to spare. Tata grabbed Marcus' hand through the thought that he would never let it go. This way, Tata said, pulling Marcus into one of the riderless horses. It was a ragged one white mare that looks like 100 years old. One of her ears looked like it had been chewed off. Tata grabbed the reins and soothed off the horse while Marcus climbed on. Tata climbed in front of Marcus. Hold on tight, he said, snapping the reins. Marcus doubted that the old horse could even run, but she shot forward and was speeding them down the street. Marcus clung to Tata, and his heart was pounding in terror. He was expecting the fleers to fly after him. A danger stabbed him in the middle of his back, but the horse ran faster and faster. It seemed she was eager to escape her life and Bombell as they were. They moved so fast that Marcus felt as though they were flying. Closing his eyes, he imagined that an old white mare was the winged horse Pegasus, and they were soaring through the clouds. When he opened his eyes, he was shocked to see they had passed through the city gates. Tata lifted his fist to the heavens and let out a Latin cheer. East, they had made it. Chapter 8. That afternoon rode to Vesuvius. They headed for the mountains Vesuvius. A massive triangle green loomed up in the east of Pompeii. They left the city behind. Tata ripped the armor from his shoulders and legs, threw the piece into a ditch. He left his helmet into a field of wheat, traded for the old tunic he scratched from the farmer's dying line. They rode for hours, crossing the old charts and olive groves, pasture and field. Night was coming, and Tata decided they would stop in a patch of woods halfway up the mountain. They got me out the mare and stretched their arching legs. Marcus reached into his pocket and pulled out a handful of grapes he snatched from the vineyard that they'd passed through. Hungry, Peg? Marcus passed to the mare. Peg? Tata says, arching one of his brushy brows. Short for Pegasus, Marcus says. Tata smiled, smearing the mare's nose. Marcus fed the grapes to Peg one by one until all of them were gone. Peg smacked her lips and rubbed Marcus' cheeks with her nose. We have friends for life, it seems, Tata says. A Peg nickered so she agreed, and Marcus and Tata laughed. It was that moment her laughter filled with the air that really hits Marcus. This was not a dream, not a wish, not a desperate prayer to the gods. He and Tata were together, a jolt of happiness practically lifting off of the ground, and Tata seems to feel it too. They looked at each other and smiled. But then shadow passed over Marcus' heart, because as happy as he felt at this moment, he knew that they were in terrible danger. They'll come after us, Marcus whispered. The slaves hunter. Physis was hired the best, most cunning man, expert in tracking their prey. They won't look for us up here, Tata promised. The hunters will be searching Pompeii. It will be days before they come to the mountain, and by then we'll be gone. We'll head to the Rome. Marcus, I have no doubt that Linus' friends will help us. Somehow, I need to continue Linus' words. It amazed Marcus that Tata could be so certain, so filled with hope. He tapped an arm around Marcus' shoulders and looked into the sky, admiring the bright moon and the swirled stars. But what Marcus saw is the bright moonlight, the angry bruise on Tata's cheek, the purple scar zigzagging along his chin. How Tata must have suffered these past 2 months. The Marcus has already told Tata about his time with Festus, the words that poured during the rides up the mountain, until at last he told Tata about very last moments with his broom master. But Tata hadn't said a thing about being with the gladiators, and now Marcus wanted to know. Will you tell me what happened to you, Tata? Marcus asked. Pain flashed through Tata's eye, and he looked away from Marcus. That is the past now, he says, and one from his tone, Marcus knew that he must not ask again. But he couldn't help thinking about what his father must have been through. It made him blood boil. I hate that Lannister, Marcus burst out, and I hate Festus. I hate all of them, what they did to you, Tata. We need to get you even. Yes, Marcus thought they would get revenge. They'll set fire to Festus' villa, find the Lannister, and Tata whipped around, gripping Marcus' shoulders. No, Marcus, he snapped. Never speak like that. You must never let your hatred take over, like you're no better than Festus, the hatred that will destroy you. Marcus blinked, stung by Tata's sharp tone. I'm sorry, Tata. Marcus says. Tata's face softened. There's goodness in the world, Marcus, and kindness. You cannot forget that. Goodness, kindness. Marcus has seen that lady, but if there's one thing that Marcus learned these past 2 months was this. The world is a dark, evil place. Most of the ruthless would survive. But Marcus has none of that to say to Tata, who would not approve such dark thoughts. And they were so tired. They led Peg into a smart growth of trees and tied her up for a night. Tata stretched out on the grassy path. Tomorrow our new lives begin, he whispered. Within seconds he was fast asleep. Marcus lay down next to Tata, but he couldn't get comfortable. His muscle ached from the long ride, but it was a strange noise that keeps snapping in the waves. Distant rumble, low hisses. Was he dreaming? Once he was ripped to sleep, but it was awake and the earth seems to be shaking. He sat up, wondering if Tata felt it too, but Tata was sound asleep. Was Margaret imagining things? Maybe what was he hearing was just the rumbles of his own angry heart. But Peg seems restless too, stamping her feet, snorting. Finally, Marcus got up and stood up with her, stroking her patchy fur, resting his cheeks against her warm head. He looked down at Pompey, dimly lit by oil lamps and torches. He made out the shapes of the house crowded together along the city halls. The boats smoothed the harbor. Marcus hugged Peg. It's okay, he told her. We'll be with Tata now. We're safe up here. He knew that was true. That the slaves hunted were far away. That Festus was too busy with his important guests to think too much about his escaped slave. Still, Marcus couldn't shake the feeling that there was something lurking up there on the mountain. Something even more dangerous than slave hunter. But what could it be? So this is chapter 9 and I'm done reading. So in the next day I will read chapter 9 and more. So thank you.